What do you need to know if you're planning a trip to London during Christmas, and what should you expect to book ahead of time to make sure you're not disappointed? In this video, I'm going to go through everything you need to know about London at Christmas so you don't have any surprises when you're here. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Sunny News, which gives you an American's perspective of behind the scenes of London's food, life, events, and culture. Obviously, the first thing I'm going to tell you about is the weather. Something that might surprise you is it hardly ever snows here in December. In fact, average temperatures during the month are between 40 and 50 degrees Fahrenheit. It gets dark here very early. So I would expect for daylight only between about 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. because days are very short. Next, you'll want to make sure you book those key attractions early. And when I say early, I mean like August early. Things like Winter Wonderland and Kew Gardens are the first things to sell out every year. Make sure in August you're watching for when those tickets go on sale. Other key things you'll want to look into are things like ice skating at Somerset House or tickets to see the Christmas decorations at Windsor Castle, restaurants, theaters, and your really big afternoon teas. I would love to know in the comments what is your biggest bucket list activity for Christmas in London. Something you want to plan for is spending time just looking at the decorations and lights in the most popular neighborhoods. I would suggest grouping Carnaby Street, which is my favorite every year, Regent Street, Oxford Street, and the Bond Street Christmas decorations together in one day or one evening. Others that are popular to see are Duke of York Square and Leadenhall Market. Something you can do if you want to save time and you're willing to pay for it is you can take a bus tour that takes you around London and shows you all the Christmas lights. In my blog that I will link in the description below, I'll give you suggestions on the ones that I recommend. What I did a few years ago was kind of maxing out on the best of everything, and I took an afternoon tea tour on a bus during Christmas, so I got to see all the Christmas lights while I was having afternoon tea. Like any major city, you're going to want to take time to see the store windows in the major department stores. So on Oxford Street, that would be Selfridges and John Lewis. And then when you go to Regent Street, you're definitely going to want to take time to look at Hamleys. One of my favorites as a foodie every year is Fortnum and Mason. And I think this year they had the entire exterior of the building decorated like an advent calendar. In the Knightsbridge area, you'll want to check out Harrods and Harvey Nichols. Other locations that are worthy of a mention are Ivy Restaurants, who always have amazing decorations outside, Annabelle's Private Club, as well as Tiffany's on Bond Street. You'll want to take time to see the Christmas trees around London, and there's quite a few. My favorite one is the one in Covent Garden. Another beautiful tree is the Fortnum and Mason sponsored one at Somerset House. You'll find a tree at Hayes Galleria, which is in the London Bridge area at Christmas by the River. King's Cross Station also has a tree every year. Sadly, the tree that gets bullied every year is the one that's directly behind me, and that's the Trafalgar Square Christmas tree. It's a gift annually from Norway, and it tends to be a lot skinnier than the other ones, so it gets picked on a lot. As a foodie, I have to mention the Christmas food that you would want to enjoy while you're here. At the top of the list is going to be a festive afternoon tea. You're pretty much safe with any of the ones at the luxury hotels. Mr. Sunny and I love having street food at the Christmas markets. We find it's cheaper than having a sit-down meal when we're out spending time celebrating the holidays, but of course it's still London, so it's not going to be that cheap. We found we were most interested in the Christmas market food at Christmas by the River, which again is by London Bridge. And if you have some extra time, you might want to just pop around the corner to Borough Market, where they have tons of festive foods available. You'll also find a lot of the chains doing Christmas sandwiches, and you can even find Christmas cheeseburgers. Our favorite one every year has been the Cheesemas Burger, which is at Byron Burger. A huge piece of advice is something you have to know when you come here is to be aware of transportation. Don't be surprised if a London Underground station temporarily closes due to overcrowding, or something that happened this year was the TfL staged strikes on key shopping weekends during the holiday season. Remember, there are no underground, overground, or bus services on Christmas Day, so you definitely want to check the TfL website regarding whatever you need for transportation on certain days when you're here. That's especially important to know if you're planning to fly in on Christmas Day. You will find that cab prices or Uber prices will be at a premium on that day. While you might not be able to get a ride easily on public transportation Christmas Day, you probably can go to a pub. But I have an entire video dedicated to what to expect in a London pub during Christmas. You need to remember that nothing is a guarantee in London for Christmas. For example, this year, the Tower of London is not having ice skating, so they can get ready for the Queen's celebration this summer. The Natural History Museum will be offering its holiday ice skating activity for the last time this year. You'll want to make sure that you look into all those hot tickets before you come. Another example is this year, the New Year's Eve fireworks have been canceled, as well as the night tube is not going to be free this year. If you follow me on social media, you'll get to see all the pubs, restaurants, and events Mr. Sunny and I visit. And if you want to make sure you don't miss anything, subscribe to the Sunny News, which comes out every week and includes Mr. Sunny's Pub of the Week. Finally, if you want a really British experience while you're here on Christmas Day, you'll want to watch the Queen's Speech, which airs every year at 3 p.m., which is 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And a lot of people actually time their dinners around the speech so they can see what the Queen has to say. I imagine this year it's going to be especially important because it's our first year without Prince Philip. It's our second year of Christmas with COVID, and it's our first year out of the EU. Don't forget to check out that blog post, which is linked below, that has all the information about visiting London at Christmas. And thanks for watching. See you in the next video.